Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Not a game. We talking about practice.
We thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Decide a different league, I'm coming. I'm flat out coming.
It's my quarterback. And if you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
All right. Hello once again, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Report Podcast right here on Wire Sports. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan, and I have a cast of thousands with me tonight. Let me go ahead and bring in my co-host, my brother from another mother, my man, Seven. Seven, what's up? How you doing?
You cannot be trusted with that green mic cover at all. You just can't. You can't be trusted.
That's why I kept this one right there.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Oh, somebody caught it. I'm glad you caught it, though. Man.
Oh, man. It was it's a great weekend of sports, bro.
Oh, yeah, it was. It really was. It really was. Let me go ahead and bring in my man, Ando. Ando, what's up? How you doing today?
What up, boys? What up? How we doing tonight?
Mets finally get a freaking win, 2-8 out of the last 10. Get the hell out of here. You ain't even an all-star break yet. You already starting to show signs.
Yeah, you are.
Mets gonna Met, bro. Mets gonna Met.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. But
Hey. Mariners are probably going to win.
Probably.
Then again, it is the Mariners and they're playing the Twins. Twins could score 10 runs in the bottom of the ninth. It would be a Mariners way to do it.
It would be.
That's more of a Met. That's more of a Mets way to lose a game.
Yeah.
But I mean, anything's possible.
Well, I mean, it's the Seattle Mariners. What do you expect?
Florida Panthers fan, Australia, UK. How you doing? Welcome to the stream.
What's up?
Jerry, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Let me see. We got John up here. John, what's up? What's up? No championship in Halle out all next year. Was it worth it? Has the windows slowly closed. Got upcoming contracts. Got to pay. They definitely moving from Turner and going to have to bring out the piggy bank.
I'm sure we'll get into that.
Let's save that for we talk about it. But yeah,
we'll get into that later. Oh man, Jerry says go Braves. I know you're a Braves fan. Okay. I didn't know. Cool.
You just automatically became William's biggest hater.
She's far from it. Far from it.
Not that.
All right. Brave, sweet Mets, man. What's up, Mo? How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream.
What's up, Mo?
All right, everybody. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We got some things from the NBA we need to talk about. First off, we have new NBA champions. The OKC Thunder has won it all for this season. Fellas, and Ando, I'll start with you. Do we see the makings of a dynasty with this team?
How can you not? Youngest team in basketball right now. I think they're the third youngest basketball team in history to win an NBA championship.
God, it's so hot.
Yeah, dude. I mean, isn't it? Like if Erica was here, she'd be all about it. But no, It is very hard to root against Oklahoma City, given how their front office has put together the team, not just drafting, but keeping it together, even with the injuries to Chet early in his career. Shea, I don't even want to say he came out of nowhere, because over the last 3 years, the dude has improved astronomically. I think rightfully so, they have earned that favorite to win the championship, barring any drastic injuries or changes to the team, which I don't see Presti doing at all. I will be the first to say shout out to Oklahoma City. After Halliburton went down, I really thought Indiana, with the way that the Oklahoma City Thunder played in that second quarter, was going to take it. And then Oklahoma City remembered that there was a game that they had to win. And that third quarter, they just slapped around Indiana. And yeah. I think more importantly, prayers for Halliburton. It was confirmed it was an Achilles tear.
Yes.
Just damn. That's all you can say is damn. Like anybody who watched that game, Thunder and Pacer fans alike, the air came out of that building when Halliburton got hurt yesterday. And you hate to see it, because I think even they were down 21. I think they were down 21 at the third at one point, and they came back to only lose by 12. Halliburton's in that game, injured or not. Indiana still has a shot to win that game.
I don't know about that. And here's the thing. Halliburton, there were plenty of games throughout this series that the Pacers lost that Halliburton was in the game. The whole game. Here's the other thing. In game 6, because of his calf injury, a game that, first of all, he should have sat. Game 6, he only played for 23 minutes.
21
minutes. And they still won that game. I'm not saying Hallie is a non-factor on that team. What I'm saying is he was not he was not enough of a difference maker in that game. Oklahoma, because here's the truth. If Hallie hadn't hurt himself, if he hadn't blown his Achilles, played the entire game, Oklahoma City still could have won that game by more than 10, because they did it multiple times when he was healthy and in for the whole game. And so as the thing that I have to stand on here is there is too much evidence throughout this series to suggest that we put a question mark over this because of Hallie's injury. I feel bad for the guy. The fact that he is now going to be sitting right next to Jason Tatum on the couch next year is heartbreaking. I think guys like Hallie and Tatum are good for the game.
And Lillard too. Lillard suffered an injury.
And Lillard, yeah.
Indiana too.
Yes.
Lillard's out.
Yes.
There is too much evidence to suggest otherwise for me to believe that Hallie would have been enough of a difference maker, because Oklahoma City, did people not realize how good you have to be as a professional basketball team to actually only try for 2 quarters and win game 7? Something that every athlete dreams of in baseball, hockey, or basketball. Game 7. It's on the line. You don't have anybody saying, oh, it's game 1, end of the finals. Florida Panthers fan, I love you, man. You are just filling up our comments. I appreciate it. Like, there's too much evidence to the contrary for me to really be able to stand on, Hallie is that much of a difference maker that could have won that, because he wasn't in multiple other games.
My argument with this game in particular, he played 7 minutes. In that 7 minutes, he is 3 for 5, 3 for 4 specifically from beyond 3-point range. He has 9 points. Nobody else hits more than 2 3-pointers the rest of the day. The Pacers go 11 to 28 from 3-point. even
Right.
I agree with you that I there's not enough. I don't think you put an asterisk. This is not an asterisk game. This is a what if game. It's a lot like
No.
trying to remember
No.
another game where you
I get where you're going, Ando, because it's game 7.
it is
It's game 7, and
you're
you
not,
have to
dude.
have,
I am when
and you have to have your and you have to
when
have
your
your
back
best
is
player
against the wall.
out there. You have to have You have to have
when
your
you're
best
when
player
your back
out
is against
there.
the wall, you're gonna play. You can't, Tony. If there's a convention at Arrowhead, and hey, you got to make this many sales at your job, and we'll give you tickets, and it's the 11th hour. You're gonna do everything you can to make the sales you need to, whether you're sick, your kid's throwing up at home, your wife's in labor. If you want those tickets, you're going to get those damn tickets. You're going to go and get the sales.
I'm just going to get Will's credit card and make shit happen. That's what I'm going to do.
I don't know if Indiana beats OKC. OKC is a very tough team to beat, and you said it yourself. But the dynamics of this game drastically changes even with the 75% Halliburton on the court. With that Halliburton on the court, the team lost their identity. The team lost their momentum, and they only lost by 12 without that momentum, without that identity. You keep
Whose
Halliburton
fault is
on
it
the
that
court.
they lost their identity? It's Rick Carlisle's fault. Mr. Coach of the Year, Rick Carlisle.
I don't want to blame Rick. I don't. Like, the dude is a hell of a coach, man.
I said it on Player versus Team last week. When you get a calf injury, what's the next thing to go? The Achilles.
Achilles
And-
race, yeah.
Yep. And so that side, I get it, because as a coach, you have to protect your player from himself. I understand that. I get it. And now, but it's game 7, man. You might not be blessed to ever see this again. I'm gonna use Dan Marino as a perfect example. We thought Dan Marino was gonna be back. We thought he was gonna be back. He had that one
second
shot.
season in the NFL.
That's it.
Second season
That's
in
it.
the NFL.
Yeah, he had one shot.
Here's my thing though. With the choice to play, first of all, Hallie shouldn't have played in game 6. He should not have played in game 6.
I agree with you there.
And that is because, like you said, the Achilles is the next thing to go if you don't treat a calf injury correctly.
Mm-hmm.
However, the other thing you have to look at is why was he playing in the first half? You have him in the building. He comes out, does all the fanfare at the beginning of the game, and then he goes back into the locker room, and they are doing nothing but treating that calf and doing everything they can to make sure that is going to be as strong as possible for the second half when they need him. The Pacers are a second half team.
Yes.
They were all year. They were through all of the finals. They were a second half team.
And they proved
all you have to do is keep it in striking distance.
Yeah. And they proved that they could do that through the first half.
Yep.
Exactly. So my question is but no, for me, this is why it comes back to Rick Carlisle. Because like Will said, a head coach's job is to protect a player from themselves. But more so, he should not have allowed the team to get so wrapped up in the identity that the absence of Halliburton created a hole, because there was clearly enough talent for them to stay in that game. And now they're going to be sitting there. They're going to be saying, what ifs? Hallie's going to be 60 years old, like Scottie Pippen, going, man, if I wouldn't have gotten injured in that game, we would have won that finals. That's what's going to happen, because coaching didn't do their job. If there had been contact that made this happen, then I think we're having a completely different conversation.
Yes.
But it wasn't.
Yes.
He wasn't touched. He just stepped and crumbled. And everybody knew instantly. There was no question.
Yeah.
Anybody that's a sports fan saw what happened and went, That it's
it was Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers all over again.
It was the same thing. And so for me, how do you Florida Panthers look? I know you want to sleep with me and you're this close. It's working. No, but like, how do you as a coach? Because like with what was it John asked earlier about
load management?
No, it's no. It's about recognizing when a guy is injured, he needs to sit. If he's not injured, play. And in between games, recovery. And then there was the person that asked at the beginning of the show, it was John, is the window closed?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it's Rick Carlisle's fault. Because you're not going to get the same level of play. You might get lucky because of the fact you're going to draft better after next season. You might get something out of the draft and help. But your window was barely open with a guy averaging 20 points a game.
So do the Pacers shop a player to get some presence to replace Hallie for next season? Example like Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell, Matherin. Do they shop a player to get someone who might take his place, perhaps?
I don't. Honestly, you went toe to toe with the NBA champions in Game 7 for the better part of 3 quarters. I don't think you make too many changes. I don't think you make too many changes, right? The East is going through an influx right now. Remember, Boston has to deal with the same situation that Indiana's going through. Milwaukee has to go through the same situation that Indiana's going through.
That's a good point. And that's a good point, Mo. That's a good point, Mo. Shout for who? That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't.
Bradley Beal. You guys the
Suns,
the Pacers, they need to trade for Bradley Beal.
You just want Bradley Beal.
The Suns will give him away. You could send him. You could get Bradley Beal for a concession stand worker to be named later.
You still got the
and a second round.
I'll go to Phoenix.
We just turn it into the
worker.
You still got the
exactly. See, look,
he can't go nowhere. He don't want to go. He got a no trade clause. Look at that. Tell him, Mo. Say it again, Mo. Say it again.
I think 7's a little salty that they got rid of Kevin instead of Bradley.
You know what?
If they take, because I mean, you tell Bradley Beal he's going to a contender. I'll take Kuzma over Bradley Beal. Let's go.
Kuzma, that man gonna be with the Shanghai Sharks next year.
To answer whose question was it, John? To answer John's question, I don't think you do.
No,
I wouldn't change it too much unless you know that it's not going to work, and you won't know that it's not going to work until 20, 30 games into the season. But remember, the East is going to be looking really, really whack next year. Tatum and the Celtics are down. Cleveland, I think, will still be a contender.
Yes.
New York, depending on the coaching staff that they get, I think they'll be a contender.
Thank you, Mo.
Milwaukee won't be the same. Boston won't be the same. Indiana won't be the same. The East is going to be up for grabs. So I would not change it too much. Unless something happens in the draft that shifts the needle, I don't think you need to make too many changes.
I like Drew, though. If Indiana can absorb that contract and trade something, I kind of like Drew, though. I ain't gonna see him.
Drew Holiday?
Yeah, I kind of like Drew, though. Excuse me.
I mean, but who are you gonna send for Drew, though? That's the question.
Yeah. Because
what's the package look like that they can't say no?
Because he's making a ton of money. He's making a ton of money, and I don't know if Indiana can absorb that contract. But
no, I don't think they go after Ben Simmons. Hell no. Indiana is not going after Ben Simmons. The Pistons.
Now Ben Simmons has enough.
Oh man.
The Pistons
Ben
will be the team I think that takes second or third next year with all the injuries in the East.
I'm looking
The
at
Pistons
Orlando.
will be the team to watch.
Orlando, Pistons, and Cavs. Yeah,
The
'cause I know
Pistons,
who it ain't.
Cavs. Yep.
Because I know who it ain't. It will be the Hawks or the Bulls. Tell you that.
There are rumors going around that I think it was. Let me see if I can find the article. They were
dang,
talking about. They were
somebody-
talking about a trade that the Bulls could make that would get rid of Vujovic, but it would give them a solid front court presence. Let me see if I can find the trade. Hold on.
Look for that while I explore this. Who we trading 7 for?
No, seven's no trade clause. He can't leave.
It's
I'll be gone
ironclad.
I'll be gone before 7's gone.
7. We trade you for Higgins.
No, my no trade clause is ironclad. I can only get traded to Anna Kendrick's bedroom. That's the only place I can get traded to.
Oh man!
Unfortunately,
you
outside
got
of that,
Hornets above Bulls and
can't
Hawks.
happen.
I do have Hornets above Bulls. Look, here's my thing with the Bulls. That front office is in shambles. Same thing with the Hawks to a certain degree. This in shambles.
The Hornets are still a basketball team?
Yep, they're still a basketball team.
Oh, okay.
Now the Hornets organization ain't too far up. The Hornets organization is not too further up the rim than Chicago's. But I'm just saying the Bulls.
The benefit with Atlanta is they have a star player in Trae Young that they can advertise. We do not.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Nope.
We don't have that.
Trae Young isn't it?
Trae Young is the Eastern version of Ja Morant. He just doesn't have a GTA celebration wheels with every gun.
The problem with Trae Young is he looks too much like Angelica's doll Cynthia for anybody to take him seriously as a player.
Every time with you, man.
Oh man, my issue with Trae ain't got no leadership, and B, that's not a shot he never liked.
Okay, so
but then again, when you're a superstar on a bad team, you get that privilege to jack up 20-25 shots a night because you're on a bad team.
So I found that trade offer. So it was in discussion with the Boston Celtics because the Boston Celtics, obviously with new ownership, one of the offers that they believe, who wrote the article, so I can kind of quote them on this. NBA Insiders posted it yesterday. So the second of 3 trades that they believe Boston could make if everybody was on board would be Boston, Chicago, and Memphis. Boston would receive forward Brandon Clark and center Jay Huff from the Grizzlies. The Bulls would get Kristaps Porzingis from Boston and Xavier Tillman from the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies would get guard Talen Horton via sign and trade, Nikolai Vujovic, and the Bulls 2030 second round pick.
You don't have the Bulls at all.
I don't think anybody gives a fuck about the Bulls getting help right now.
You don't like the Bulls at all. How the hell?
So it would clear up cap space for the Celtics. I don't know. I like Porzingis maybe a little better than I like Vujovic because Porzingis at least stretches the floor. I don't like that we have nobody else.
Right.
I mean, Colby White's looking good. Matthias, who we drafted in the first round last year, I think he'll be great. But we don't. First off, we don't have the salary cap to go after anybody.
No.
Nobody wants to come to Chicago because we don't have that environment that we did back in the 90s.
Plus, it's a cold weather city.
It is. Yep. And I think more importantly, ownership and the coaching staff. It's Billy Donovan. Yay.
Right. Yeah. Trae looks a lot like Gallagher.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the 3 trades that they think Boston should make.
I would pay him $100 just to smash a watermelon, just to see.
You see a trade come out of nowhere, Zion, Harden, Joel.
Zion, I don't think anybody will bite, only because of his injury history. Harden's a wild card. He could. Joel Embiid, I think Philadelphia's put too much into him to let him walk. So.
Bulls fans, there's always hope. So, but hold on here.
And that's exactly what it is. Hope.
Well, hope that our dreams get crushed.
But here's the thing about Embiid though. because I think out of those three, I'll say this, out of those three, I think if any of them get traded, it's Embiid. And I think it's because of the fact that he's not very helpful to the image of the team or the culture of the team.
Right.
But you're not going to get anywhere near value back for him. So you're going into this trade with whoever is taking Embiid from the Sixers and saying, with the Sixers saying, I'm going to get what I can, but I'd rather, you're almost looking at it's say because of it of the greatness of Embiid, but you're almost looking at it as an addition by subtraction thing. But you've got to at least get something functional in return so that you can, you don't have a part-timer sitting on your team like you do with Embiid. You know what I mean? Like that's if, like I said, if any of them, because and the reason, and maybe this is simply just because of everything that Red Sox fans have had to deal with the Devers trade recently. When you have a guy that's not good for the culture and isn't going to help
I said that too, John. I said that too. He is officially the second NBA. He is the second NBA Rainbow Warrior.
We're about to get back. We're about to get in that in a second. I'm gonna let Seven.
But
I want you to finish your point, Seven.
Well, and maybe it's just because of the fact that what I went through with what we've been dealing with the Devers trade, but sometimes that is a better thing. The Red Sox actually look like a better and happier team without Rafi Devers. I think there's still some things they have to do in the addition side of things, but if you can find a way that is going to clear him out without having to eat the entire contract,
right?
So that you have the money to bring in another piece, then I think there's some benefits there, but you have to go into it understanding that you're not getting value back. That's just plain and simple.
All right, let's move on. They got brought up in the chat earlier. Let's go ahead and move on, get to it. The Kevin Durant trade been traded from Phoenix to the Houston Rockets, and for Dylan Brooks, some draft picks, Jalen Green. 7, you're the resident Suns fan. I'm gonna start with you. Did you like this trade?
No, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. And here's the thing: it's not.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, bro. I don't mean to interrupt you. We have Erica with us. She came on. Let me go ahead and bring her in real quick, and then Seven will get right back to you, bro.
OKC.
It still sounds like an STD. Thunder. I met that girl on Tinder.
No, that's me, Erica. That's me. I'm the one that looks like an STD.
Look at that. What's that hat say? All
hold on. I gotta say, for you being an Oklahoma City fan, I'm just gonna rub this right in your face. How does it feel that your NBA team that's existed for 17 years has a championship before the Sooners do in football? How the fuck did that happen?
You know what? Because our Thunder was in a 6-year rebuild, and OU is in a rebuild right now. So let's see what happens.
6-decade rebuild? 6-decade
Guess
rebuild?
what?
That's a good point. But
you ain't gonna kill my high.
But that's a good point because. But that's a good point because not too long ago, OKC was a 22-win team.
Yep. Yeah. Hold on, really quick. John, no, Abraham Toro does not need to be replaced. He's hitting over 300 and he's really good. They don't need to replace Abraham Toro. They need a second baseman, but we'll talk about that in baseball. But no, it's sorry, go ahead. For Phoenix, I blame Matt Ishbia in the Phoenix Suns front office. You have a generational talent in Devin Booker. You luck into another generational talent in Kevin Durant. And you don't even get a finals appearance out of it. You got farther with teddy bear DeAndre Ayton as your big who you traded away and ended up with Yusef fucking Nurkic. Yusef Nurkic. I've got soft serve ice cream in my freezer that is harder than he is.
I just got to say before Seven continues that Erica is beaming as bad as Seven is steaming right now. I just had to say that. Go ahead, Seven.
I feel sorry for you, man, because you had to do Rafi Devers, and now you doing this. I feel for you, bro.
No, see, here's the thing. Rafi Devers leaving, Rafi Devers getting traded, that at least made sense because he was a fucking cancer and overvalued in a contract that was inflated because the dude led the league in fielding errors 7 of the last 8 years. I can stomach the loss of Rafi Devers and the comp that we got back. I can handle that because there is a huge upside there that people don't give enough credit to. With Kevin Durant, 5 seconds. What are we doing? Using that to refill the fucking G League team? Maybe draft a couple of them for the fucking WNBA? And then you get back Jalen fucking Green. Jalen fucking Green. What are we going to do? Put 3 goddamn balls in the court? We put 3 fucking balls in the court? We actually make 1 fucking shot? Are you kidding me?
I can't. Holy shit, I can't.
Wait, is this, are we going to fucking move Devin Booker, Jalen Green, and Bradley Beal into fucking
Get him.
Ice Cube's 3-on-3 league and hope they actually win a goddamn championship?
Get him.
Oh my God.
And then the thing that killed me, y'all.
You tell him, Seven. We got your back. That's why you got the floor.
And then to back up Seven's point real quick. And then to back up Seven's point real quick, they talking about they keeping everybody. Grayson
Of
Allen,
course they are.
Grayson Allen should be the one. Grayson Allen and Bradley. Look, Grayson Allen should be at least the odd man out in all this. I go and sit here in front. And you need to move Bradley Beal.
Matt Ishbia, I want you to, in case you ever see this, owner of the Suns, Matt Ishbia, I want you to look me in the fucking face right now. I need you to understand. Go fuck yourself, first of all. Secondly, this is not a mortgage that in 30 years you're going to get money back on. You're going to get your money back on. This isn't a fucking mortgage, dude. This isn't a college team where, you just have to be happy to be here like it was when you fucking played with Michigan in the early 2000s, you fat fuck. My God. My son,
Seven, get it all out.
My son who's 15, who has never played an NBA game on his PlayStation in his fucking life. I could hand him the controller after buying him 2K and tell him he can only play franchise mode. And he will run that fucking team better than Matt Ishbia has run that team since he bought it 2 fucking years ago.
I would just like to say NBA 2K25 is on sale for Xbox for $10.69 before taxes. So this is your perfect time to unfuck up the Suns trade for Kevin Durant and not let the Oklahoma City Thunder win the NBA.
Well, because I'm still going to be stuck with Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is going to be haunting my fucking dream for the next 5 fucking years. I'm going to be trying to get peaceful slumber, and then his fucking stupid grin is going to pop up in my dreams, no matter what I do.
It's worse. You're going to have a wet dream with Anna Kendrick, and you're going to get to the popping point, and Bradley Beal is going to show up and be like, "What's up, motherfuckers?"
Damn.
You know what? You really know how to fuck up a wet dream, don't you, Ando?
I don't have them anymore, so no, I do not.
Okay.
Clearly, then you know how to fuck them up then.
Parental advisory at the top of the screen.
John, I'm trying, but my doctor said I had to stop smoking because it might be actually fucking with my ADHD. So I haven't even smoked.
No, Bradley Beal is fucking with your ADHD.
Bradley Beal is fucking with my mental health.
You need to have Bradley Beal come up with a list of teams you want to play for and ship his ass out. That's what you need to do.
Train him to the fucking Chicago Sky for Angel Reese. At least you know what you're going to fucking get out of her. She can rebound the goddamn ball.
You might have a defensive presence. The me-bounds will add up, yo.
It's a defensive presence.
I won't even bitch about the fact that her fingernails are like 10 inches long even when she's on the fucking court. Trade him to the fucking Chicago Sky for Angel Reese. I'm in it.
Seven's fucking done.
Hey, I do want to change the subject real fast back to the person that you called a Cynthia doll, Trae Young. You know, he actually does some pretty good shit here in Norman, Oklahoma. So I can't bash the dude too much.
I can.
Go for it.
I can. He ain't never seen a shot he ain't never liked. But then again, like
you want to name our children Monique,
when you play,
and Monique. I don't want to hear from you.
but when you play for a bad team, you can shoot. You can shoot 20, 25 times because it's a bad team.
But what about when it was a good team?
Right, that's the point. Right, that's the point. And that's what messed Bradley Beal up. Because with the Wizards, he can shoot like that.
But
when you get to a team with other stars, you gotta be efficient and healthy.
Good team or bad team, Trey's shooting off like he's a white kid in a fucking high school. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong, but that's a terrible team, though.
The more we talk about Trae Young, the more I believe he and Ja Morant should be on the same team.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah,
hell no.
Absolutely.
Hell no. Hell no.
Hell, yes.
But last time coaches were this bad, smallpox was a thing.
That would be an NBA nightmare.
Yes, it will.
Oh my gosh. NBA nightmare.
If the Oklahoma City Thunder can win a championship with the team they got, fucking Trae Young and Ja Morant, let's see what happens.
Rumor Bradley Beal and John Wall. You're right.
Dude, I don't know,
John
man.
Wall ain't played in years.
I liked John Wall before he started getting the injuries. He and Derrick Rose were 2 point guards that just injuries fucked them up, man.
Yeah.
If we're going to have too many point guards, can we send Bradley Beal to Chicago and take on whatever was left of Scottie Pippen's contract before he retired? I'll take him. I'll take Scottie Pippen at whatever 50, 60 years he old is now over fucking Bradley Beal.
Damn.
Problem is I probably would too, Will. That's why we ain't trading Scottie Pippen's contract.
That's why you trade their contract.
Nope.
That's why you trade their contract. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I do like this move for both teams. You get a closer in Houston, which they need because they don't have a closer. They don't have a bona fide scorer. Jalen was shooting like 36% from the field, streaky as hell. And like 5 of them last 7 games in the playoffs he played, I think it was a 5 out of 6 or 4 out of 6. He was missing shots left and right. So
Kevin looks like he's about to blow up again.
Yeah, he looks like he needs to blow his spot again.
I'm gonna have a fucking aneurysm.
There we go.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
have a fucking aneurysm. So
Kevin would give Kwame Brown a spot.
I have a question for you. I would give Kwame Brown a spot on roster over Beal at this point. I'll do you one better, John. Give me Kendrick fucking Perkins right after he goes to fuking Burger King over Bradley fucking.
I was gonna say Kendrick Perkins after going to
Here's my question though. Here's my question though. Do you put Jalen Green as the 6th man, have him as your first person to come off the bench? Which like do you put both of them as bench players so that you don't have 3 shooting guards on the floor at the same time? How do you split the time up for these guys now that you have all 3 of them?
Can I say that I think it would work if they had a dependable number 1, a person to distribute the ball? If you had a solid point guard who could distribute the ball and make that work, that's a solid starting 5. I mean, granted, I think you need somebody in the center better than fucking.
So you're gonna have whoever your point guard is.
Well, at this point right now, it's Tyus Jones or Monte Morris. Neither one of those are gonna fucking do it.
No.
But no, I mean, if you got a point guard,
a true point,
and then you get Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Jalen Green, and fuck it, I would put Bull at center at this point. 7'3", 220. Fuck it, put him out there at center.
He is. I worry about him. It's possible that he could turn into something great. But I'm not a hater on Bull. I just don't think he's that guy as far as your center is concerned.
I think I speak for everybody on the panel when I say Phoenix's problem is they don't have anybody to distribute.
That is their first problem. Absolutely, 100%.
You need a point. If you can get a point, and this is why I like John Stockton is like my definitive point guard. John could shoot for himself, fine, perfectly. But John's first job was to distribute the basketball. if you put a John Stockton-minded player at the 1 in Phoenix, it doesn't matter if he gets 10, 12 points a game because his assists are going to make up for the way that he's able to get the ball to Green, to Booker, to Beal. It's fine.
But who's that guy in the NBA right now?
This day and age, you don't
have that in this day and age. You don't.
Can I get Chris Paul back?
He ain't gonna leave San Antonio.
San Antonio re-signs him. If you could get Chris Paul back, that at least alleviates the issue. First of all, he's not going to be super expensive. No. So I mean that's a benefit to Phoenix and that by itself. He's going to distribute. His defense obviously is lacking, but you're not bringing him in for his defense. You're bringing him in to bring the ball up the court and get the sets going.
Yes.
So then, if you sign Chris Paul on the cheaper side, then you have the money and and some resources to go get a true big. Like, I mean, obviously the question becomes who at that point. And I don't know, but Chris Paul would at least fill that part of that void. But first off, he's got that little bit of a mid-range still, so you can still get something out of him outside of distribution.
Yeah. But so Chris Paul is on a 1-year deal, stated anywhere between $10.4 and $11 million this year.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a good point, Mo. That's a good point. Yeah, I kind of like that. And you can get him too. It's not like something he won't. He'd be like super affordable. You can do that. I
don't hate it. Yeah.
You can make that deal. You can make that work.
I don't hate it. But I said it. I said it in the wire chat. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've read a lot on the internet. OKC's got the money to try and go get Giannis. You think they might try and do it?
No, they're not going to fuck around. No,
they're not going to. They're not going to. They're not going.
You just know if I'm Sam Presti, I'm leaving that. Yeah,
they're not going to mess with that chemistry. No,
you would lose too much to get Giannis.
Yeah, even though they got, even though they got 15,000 draft picks.
Yeah, it would be the equivalent of trying to sign. It would be the equivalent of the Bulls after the '96 season trying to pick up Shaquille O'Neal. Like don't mess with what brought you to the dance. And I don't think Oklahoma City will do that.
I think Westbrook is done because I think Westbrook's.
Yeah, I thought I saw that Westbrook retired. He announced retirement.
But Gary Payton Jr. is interesting.
It's not. Yeah, I don't hate that one.
That's interesting. You can get him. You can get him on the cheap too. Yeah, because he's free agent. You don't have to pay anything for him. So I kind of like.
Oh, fun fact about Russell Westbrook, because we were talking about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, by going to the Rockets, officially becomes the second player in NBA history to be the Rainbow Warrior, not gay. But what I mean by Rainbow Warrior is he wore every primary color in the NBA. By this year, he'll be wearing red for the Rockets, wore orange in OKC and Phoenix, wore yellow for the Golden State Warriors, green for the Seattle Supersonics, blue for the Thunder and the Warriors, technically purple for the Suns, and then there's kind of like that blackish blue for the Nets. So he joined Shaquille O'Neal as the only other player.
He's not. Really
I was going to say Mo. Yeah, he's not really. He's a shooting guard. He's not a point guard, and he's not big enough to be. He's not. I don't think he's. Yeah, because he's only size wise
6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's 6'2", 195 according to ESPN. He's not big enough to be a big. So I think Peyton probably is a no, and he's not a distributor. He's averages less than 2 assists a game throughout his entire career.
It's going to be tough to find somebody of that ilk that Andrew was talking about. It's going to be tough. Because I don't think what.
So I'm looking online right now. It looks like Russell Westbrook I don't know if it's official that he announced his retirement, but he did decline the $3.5 million option that the Nuggets offered him this year. And reports are saying that he could be headed to Houston to reunite with Kevin Durant.
Nobody want that. Kevin Durant don't want that.
Kevin Durant doesn't want.
He don't want that. He don't want that.
How would you feel about Russell Westbrook going to Phoenix? It's better than the point guard option they got now.
It is. And he does, I mean, Mr. Triple Double. He's definitely going to distribute. But
decision making
my
is suspect.
His decision making isn't the best. The other thing is at his age, obviously load management is a lot more important with a guy like that, especially if you're actually trying to make a deep run. So are you really going to rely on your supposed to be your starting point guard? Are you only going to get 25 minutes a game out of him?
Yeah.
Like if you're lucky, is it like that's what you got to do? You might as well at that point have him as your bench point guard, and you're still right where you're at, right where they're at now. So, it would be better than, I will say it is better than the option that they have now, but I don't think it actually solves the problem. That's my thing.
What about Spencer Dinwiddie? I would love Drew Holiday. I would love Drew Holiday. That would be the guy you need on that team to come close to what Ando was talking about. But again, he's going to cost you a little bit. He's going to cost you a little bit.
I don't know that Dinwiddie is enough of a. I mean, he is a point guard. He's like this. He's been a shooting guard for a couple of different scenarios, like 1 year with Brooklyn and so on. But he is more of a point guard than a shooting guard. But I don't know that he actually distributes enough to be a true point guard. But he would be cheaper, so you could still use him and just say, hey, you need to distribute the ball. We want you distributing more than we want you shooting. Having, as Ando said, that Stockton mindset. I don't think it's a horrible idea, but I hope we can find a better option.
Last thing on basketball, then we'll take a break then come back and finish up with some MLB. Lakers has been sold. What do we think about the Lakers being sold to the owner of I believe it's the LA Dodgers, your team, Erica?
Yep.
And
this is the Shohei Ohtani effect.
Yep.
Hands down. That he does not have the money to buy every fucking sports team in LA that is not a baseball team without Shohei, the money that Shohei Ohtani earned him.
Yep.
Shohei Ohtani alone got them over $1 billion just in the first year after they signed Shohei. Over $1 billion in endorsement deals from Japanese companies alone.
Yep.
You go anywhere in Japan, Shohei's face is fucking everywhere. Shohei is to Japan what Taylor Swift is to the United States. But for me, it's I don't think it makes much of a change because Jeannie Buss is still running the team.
She's still gonna be the governor, and she still owns 15%. Yep, correct. The only thing to me, you don't have to. If you're a Lakers fan, you don't worry about the luxury tax at this point because you got a guy who can pay it. That's the only thing to me that makes a difference. But the culture is the same. Nothing's gonna change. You got Luka. You're still gonna have LeBron more than likely. So yeah, I agree. I wonder what John say. Pelika could be on the hot seat if he doesn't get the Luka trade. I think he gets another year or two, and he is gone unless they just fail this year and might not make the plan.
I agree. I think if it wasn't for the fact that they brought the superstar Luka, I don't think Rob Pelinka has a job right now. At least not in LA.
Right. What
the hell?
I want to know shit because I'm not a Lakers fan.
You're a Dodgers fan. You're a Dodgers fan. Although the same was said when Cuban sold the Mavs and he was quickly pushed out behind the scenes. Something to be aware of. This is true too.
It's
Yeah.
Dodger. I think, and Evan, I'm not saying that you're wrong because you very well could be right, but I don't think that. I mean, when you look at things like how long the Dodgers stuck with Dave Roberts, despite the fact that he made a lot of questionable decisions.
He still makes
questionable decisions.
He still does it.
He still makes questionable decisions.
Let's not sugarcoat anything. Like he still does
right.
it.
And I can't say I don't think it's as likely, but yeah, you are right. It's possible.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
I think that the Bust family is too much of a staple with the Lakers organization to just push him out. Cuban was loved in Dallas, but he was not the Cuban family was not the staple with Mavericks basketball the way that the Bust family is with the Lakers.
The Lakers, yeah.
I think that's where the difference comes down to. I think it's negative to the brand to just push her out.
All right. We are going to take a quick break and pay some bills. Continue to hang out with us. We'll be right back.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now, with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
National Streaming Sports is brought to you in part by BetUs.com, designed for true fans. NFL odds, Week 1 and futures, college football odds, including Heisman Trophy favorites and playoff odds, NBA odds of division winners and playoffs, Major League Baseball playoff and World Series odds, the National Hockey League Conference playoffs and Stanley Cup odds, and boxing wagers. Betting opportunities include versus the spreads and outright winners, also during the game. Use our link on our website, nessp.info, the Bet Us Opportunities webpage, for a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Must be 21 years old, and remember, bet responsibly.
All right, Seven, go ahead and get us caught up in the world of MLB.
After the Devers trade last week, we saw the Red Sox and the Giants meet up over the weekend in San Francisco. The Giants did take 2 or 3 games. Evan is obviously probably not going to let me forget that for a long time, but all of the games were definitely interesting. But it's also worth noting in the 6 games that Rafi Devers has played with the Giants, he is only hitting .217 and has hit 1 home run. So I hope you're okay, Evan, paying $250 million for a guy that's not hitting and really is only useful as a hitter because he's a dog shit fielder. There is it's the fucking truth. Red Sox are currently playing right now. They're playing against the Angels. They're down 5-4 in the bottom of the 4th inning because God just wants to make my life suck this week. News-wise across Major League Baseball, where was it? What was I saw something earlier that was worth talking about. The Cincinnati Reds DFA'd Heimer Candelario halfway through a $45 million deal that he had signed with them. So That's money that he gets no matter what.
Hey.
Hey, Evan. Rob Refsnyder hits better than 217, bro. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But
Erica, did I miss something?
Now John wants to know. what.
No, not at all.
John wants to know.
Evan's over here running his mouth, and Tony's just talking his shit back. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Now John wants to know which team has been more of a disappointment, the Orioles or the Twins?
The Yankees for losing 2-3 to the Angels.
Oh, I say the Orioles for sure.
The Yankees are trying to figure out where their offense went. Unfortunately, they sent Stevie Wonder to go find it, so it may take a little while for it to get located. No, but for the Baltimore Orioles, there was so much expectation. The Twins didn't have, like, people thought the Twins were going to be better this year, and I mean, they are marginally. But the Orioles were thought to be one of the teams that would contend for the division.
Mm-hmm.
There were some that gave them an outside chance to actually win the division. That's they have just fallen flat. Their coach was fired within the first 6 weeks of the season. Their rotation is horrible. They've been plagued with injury issues and performance issues. The Orioles. I think the Cubs are honestly the most impressive team, John.
Even though they just lost 2-3 to the Mariners.
Yeah, they're still one of the best teams in baseball. They're still third or fourth team overall in the league right now. They're the Cubs. Nobody thought the Cubs were going to be of any relevance this year, especially when you look at their division with the Reds, the Brewers, the Pirates, and the Cardinals. Like, a lot of people thought the Cardinals were going to be better than the Cubs this year. The Reds were going to be better, especially because the Reds have Ellie De La Cruz. There was even some spots that had the Brewers as winning the National League Central, because everybody thought this was a rebuilding period for the Cubs, and the Cubs could very well be in the National League Championship game against the Dodgers. That's a very real chance on that. Detroit has been impressive, but I think that Detroit's issue is going to be they're now getting plagued with injury, and so they have to find a solid pitcher to replace Jackson Joby with before the All-Star break or before the trade deadline. And if the Braves don't stay up, I think they need to get Chris Sale. Bring him home. Try to get a ring with Chris Sale. I know that Alex Anthopoulos is pissed at me, and he doesn't even know he's pissed at me because I said it on a podcast last week, and a bunch of MLB people picked it up and started running with it and talking about it because they realized that I'm right. That Chris Sale could be on the trade block if the Braves are sellers at the deadline. And I think Detroit would actually be the best source, because next year for Chris Sale is a club option. So is Detroit. You can pick it up. Jackson Joby is not going to be back next season because he's out with Tommy John. He's not going to be ready to come back next season, even at the break. So you have a guy in Chris Sale. You have a year left. As long as he stays healthy, you get next season out of him. And you're set. You are set as a team. And Detroit, a lot of their guys are young. They have a lot of draft picks because they've been rebuilding and trading pieces away where they needed to. Detroit has the capital to incentivize Atlanta to get Chris Sale. The Giants still need work. And Evan in the chat, he can tell you better than I can more about their needs. I haven't gotten to watch a lot of the Giants yet this year, but they still need at least another bat, probably another pitcher, another reliever. Their bullpen has been really good as we've gotten through games, but I think they need at least another starter, at least another bat somewhere in the lineup, because their hitting is not great. Honestly,
All
they
right.
beat the Red Sox.
My personal opinion, Giants can just stay how they are because they're the Giants. So
Well, you're a Dodgers fan, so nobody cares about your opinion.
I don't.
It's not your opinion
yeah.
either.
Hey, at least he's a Red Sox fan.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've been a
You
deferred
don't
Dodgers fan for
you
the next
don't
80 years.
You don't
And-
even get to join the conversation because your team doesn't do shit ever.
Yeah, but at least I respect my team for not doing shit. Minnesota, we're going to buy the entire MLB.
You want to know
and
something?
defer it for the next
I
80 years.
still respect my team even when they fucking choke. So
Yo, I didn't say anything. Look, my eyes are the shades of blue because that's how often the Mariners choke, okay? I'm just letting it live through my eyes that the Mariners choke that bad, okay? Look, no MLB team had to suffer 2001 like the Seattle Mariners, okay? When you win 116 games and lose to the Yankees in the ALCS, fucking come talk to me. When you lose to the Indians in the 96 ALCS, come talk to me.
Listen,
and no, John, I'm
the Yankees still suffered more. The Yankees still suffered more in 2001 because the baseball playoffs happened 6 weeks after 9/11. So maybe they suffered a little bit more than you did. Just kind of, maybe.
Yeah, you probably right. You probably right.
It's not all about you, Andy.
I'm just throwing it out there.
That was very bad. That was very poor wording on my part. You're right. Very poor wording on my part.
But okay, last thing here, real quick. The Athletics baseball organization.
I was going to talk about that. Yay!
Celebrated the official groundbreaking of their stadium in Las Vegas. Expected completion time is somewhere. They should be done in time for the 2028 season. But the A's are finally going to have a home. But they are still a true people of the city that they came from in Oakland, because until then they will be homeless.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's cool. I think so.
Real quick, last thing I want to say, I want to get everybody's thoughts on this. Everybody's thoughts on this. UFC fighter John Jones has retired.
I'm sorry, wasn't he already retired?
Well, he retired.
I didn't know he was still fighting.
Yeah, he retired and he officially retired, gave up the belt. Tom Aspinall is your new champion. Do you guys think he should have fought Tom first and then called it a career, or do you think he did it the right way?
About John Jones.
I'm less worried about John Jones retiring and giving up the belt than I am the fact that Dana White just gave it to somebody rather than setting up a contender match, or giving it, because it's not like the UFC is not going to function if you don't have a heavyweight title holder.
Right.
And you can also build up to, you can also sell a UFC pay-per-view, because anytime the heavyweight title's on the line, that pay-per-view fucking flies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you crown the winner of a top-tier heavyweight match as the heavyweight title holder.
Yup.
Did you hear about that? While we're talking about UFC losing money, UFC is owned by TKO. Did you hear what TKO did with Crown Jewel?
I mean, what they're trying to do?
No, they're not canceling. They officially moved it to the O2 Center in London, so it will not be held in Saudi Arabia.
Well, I can't blame them. I can't blame them on that, though.
You cannot.
I can't blame them on that, though. I can't.
No.
I can't. But you couldn't cancel the event because there's too much money invested.
Oh God, no.
No, there's too much money invested.
How much? But I mean, it's. Yeah, you're right. They couldn't cancel it, but they're still going to lose money.
Yeah,
moving it to London versus having it in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But you got to make sure that your talent is protected.
Yep. Agreed.
They had to do something. They couldn't just let it go on.
Yeah.
But I think that ultimately the choice was made for them, because Saudi Arabia today announced that all personal flights in and out of the country were stopped until further notice.
Yep.
Losing a projected 4.3 million. Woo!
Yep.
I mean, but 4.3 million, for TKO, that's chump change, really.
Not if TKO is in the hole, like
they're in
reports
debt
are
now.
announcing them. Yeah.
They're in debt now. Yeah.
Oh, are they?
They're in debt now because they bought AAA.
Yep.
between WB and AAA, they pretty much put them in. They put them in a little bit of debt. Yeah. So they got to do something. But at least they're continuing the event. That's good. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. But you had to get out of Saudi because you got to protect your talent. You got to. Your talent is all you got.
Yep.
So, all right. So let's go ahead and wrap this show up real quick. Anyone got any final thoughts and opinions they want to talk about today?
Fuck Matt Ishbia.
Yep. Hey, he's added to the list of the fuck people. Fuck Jerry Jones. Fuck Jerry Reinsdorf, and now fuck Matt Ishbia.
I'm even giving Robert Manfred a pass right now because he's at least fucking trying. Fuck you, Matt Ishbia.
I will say the NBA draft is Wednesday and Thursday. I think it's pretty locked that Cooper Flagg will go to Dallas. Kind of interested to see what the next 3 picks after that are. But yeah, new lineage of NBA players coming out Wednesday and Thursday. We'll see what happens.
Erica, you got anything you want to say to finish up?
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't even going to say that. All I was going to say is I'm looking forward to going to the parade tomorrow to celebrate the Thunder win. Thunder up. Fuck you, Ando. You're just a hater.
Look, no, I'm salty because Oklahoma City won a basketball championship before the Sonics came back. That's why I'm salty.
Okay, so the reason why you're salty is because you're just salty about everything. It doesn't matter what.
Well, I am a prior Navy sailor, so yeah, I'm kind of salty as it is.
Yeah, we all know you're a seaman, buddy. Don't worry.
Yeah, he was in the Navy. That's why he always walks funny.
Fuck you, Seven.
Because of the seaman.
You're added to my list of fuck people. Fuck you.
Because of the seaman. Trust me, I understand why he walks funny.
Real quick, I just want to say a quick congratulations.
I got no comeback. All right, fuck all y'all except Will.
You know, all you have is to sit there and thunder up. Cool for you. At least we didn't get fucked in the ass by seamen.
No, it was Marines.
Damn, no lube. Shit, I'm so sorry, dude.
Nobody
left behind, right? Isn't that what the Marines say, or is that all of them?
I think that's all of them. What's up, man?
Real quick, I just want to say before we get out here, congratulations to the 2025 Men's College World Series champions, LSU Tigers.
Erica, Rob says hello and fuck the Thunder.
Damn.
You got to remember, if the Pacers won yesterday, Rob would have been on the show.
He would have been on the show.
Rob would have been on the show had the Pacers pulled it off. So.
Real quick, I just do want to say congratulations to the men's LSU Tigers baseball team for winning the 2025 College World Series to beat Coastal Carolina. So congratulations to those guys with a 5-3 victory. LSU hadn't done anything in a minute, so congrats to them. And if there's nothing else,
hey, there is one more thing. Don't forget to check out Podcast Name Deferred on Wednesday nights.
Seven, I thought that was your job, sir.
She beat him to it.
Erica, you should be the new permanent advertisement person for the Podcast Name Deferred.
I think that you're saying that for clicks, and we don't do that here.
No. You're doing it wrong. That's
I'm not saying it that way.
Well, I think
we're looking past the results. Okay.
No. That's New Orleans. That's New Orleans. We're past that. They're already looking into 2030. Okay, so.
Oh God,
Mickey Loomis be like, we're getting ahead of the curve. We're not going to worry about football.
Wait a minute.
30.
Did Matt Ishbia take fucking GM advice from Mickey fucking Loomis? Is that why I lost Kevin Durant for Jalen fucking Green and a bunch of G League guys to be named?
To be fair.
Okay,
let
him up his screen. He's got a rant. I see it. He's stewing.
Yep. Dude, let's there we go. Full screen it again.
Fuck you, Matt Ishbia.
Take the comment down, though. The Sailor and Turd Tapper was about Ando, not Seven.
To be fair.
You got to put that last one on, though. The Beal comment. There we go.
But to be fair, though, you are getting Dylan Brooks who can bring you a level of toughness at least.
I'm sorry. Did you just give Dylan Brooks some kind of credit?
That's the only thing he got.
No,
that's the only thing he
I cannot believe you just said that.
That's the only thing he has. He brings you an attitude and some level of toughness that you didn't have last year.
The only reason we talk about Dylan Brooks in any way, shape, or form is because he talks shit to LeBron and LeBron made him eat shit. That is the only reason we talk about Dylan Brooks.
Listen.
That is the only reason, Will.
Listen, I'm just saying, did he not bring a type of attitude to the Rockets to help them get to the playoffs? Did he not do that?
I'm sorry, how many playoff wins did he get after he talked shit to LeBron? One? John Moran has more shotgun celebrations in his pinwheel of celebrations through GTA than Dylan Brooks brought credibility to the Grizzlies. And now he's going to fill the bench, eating donuts for the Phoenix Suns because Matt Ishbia is going to be like, hey, we got basketball players. Buy one, get one for powdered donuts today. Oh, man, I got Will out of here.
Fault.
I scared Will off. My bad. I didn't mean to scare you off.
That's my fault.
Look, if you just want to culture cancel me, that's fine, man.
Dylan Brooks or Lance Stevenson?
I would take Lance Stevenson, dude. At least he's blowing in people's ear for clickbait, man. So
Dylan Brooks is like a Canadian Marquise Morris. That's really.
Y'all have got to look at
Morris.
Y'all have got to look at our Facebook chat. What I just sent there.
What did you send, Erica?
I'm scared. I'm scared to look.
Bengals.
I'm scared to look.
Well, go Joe Burrow. Looking past the results. I like it, Joe. He's going to go through her more than, defensive lines go through the offensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals. So at least he'll be getting used to getting sacked. So
I ain't touching that one. Will ain't touching that one. But anyway.
No.
Anyway, Will ain't touching that one. I like being on FCC airwaves. But anyway, if there is nothing else, I want to say thanks to everybody from Wild Wire Network for having us tonight. We do appreciate it. Appreciate everybody coming out in the chat. Appreciate everybody on the panel. We'll see you again next week right here on the Sports Report Podcast. Everyone have a great week and take care.
Bye.